Hey guys, Anna here. Welcome back to Builds with Anna. Today we are in the world of Willow Creek, and for today's build, I have in mind a house for. I think it's called a shotgun style house. It's essentially a house that is very much like the base game builds that you see in Willow Creek, the starter homes. It's very much that kind of shape where it's just a rectangle. There's no bump outs or what have you. And I've kind of taken a little bit of inspiration from that base game build and kind of designed a simple. It's a one by one, so a one bedroom, one bathroom home that I envisioned this house to be potentially suitable for like a couple's first home. And there's a couple of things that kind of depict this. There's a lot of furniture that is potentially a little bit more dated or potentially vintage. Maybe it was furniture that was passed down to them. I know when I moved out of home, I didn't buy a lot of furniture. A lot of furniture was given to me. So I kind of definitely incorporated that feel into this home, that potentially this couple had acquired some items and furniture to uh, furnish their home, this first home of theirs. I did definitely want it to have kind of a millennial feel to this build. So I wanted to make it really known that, young adults live here, potentially students. I think there is quite a lot of high school years furniture in here, because I do feel that Discover University and high school years definitely that they blend well together, so that you can kind of, yes, they may be a university student, but some of those high school years assets are definitely going to still be applicable. All right, so let's get into the build. We have, of course, built our shell. I'm just up to the roofing now, as you can see. I had a lot of problems with this overhang for the porch. In the end, I just decided to do the overhang to cover about 3/4 of the porch. I just felt it looked nicer with our columns and what have you. So that's what you're seeing here. And we do end up changing the doors, but that door from Nifty Knitting is such a cute little door. I really like just the simplicity of the door, but I feel like it needed a slightly bigger door for the space. And I think that's just because of the wall height. Alrighty, so now we're inside and we're just doing the floor plan. So the floor plan of this house is definitely more of an open floored concept, and with just a very, I think that, yeah, no, it's kind of sectioned well. It came about fairly easy. It wasn't a tricky floor plan. I am just trying to work out where I want to put the kitchen. That's why I was, scooting around a bit there. But in the end, I think it works out. So the kitchen is actually positioned around that back door, which sometimes in a lot of older houses, you will see that as well, where there's always like the back door is attached to a laundry room or like a utility room or a kitchen or a sunroom. So I definitely took that vibe here. So initially I went with this white kind of sliding, but in the end we actually go with a bright orange color, and I actually think it suits so much better. I think that this house just looked a little bit bland with the pale color. And as you can see, I'm trying to dress it up here with that little, I think it's a porch awning. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's like a shade covering. And that does help a little bit, but I do think that the orange color in the end that we go with is much better. So I believe now we are just kind of rearranging windows and placement. I really wanted to get the placement of that door correct because, as I said, that's where we put our kitchen. So where the cabinets and the fridge go, that obviously matters. So I did have to play around a bit with the back door there. I use carpet in this house. As I said, I wanted it to be a first home for a young couple. So for me, it's probably going to be a home that potentially is not exactly brand new. So, older houses are going to have a more dated tile in the bathroom. They may have carpet in the bedroom and what have you. So I went with carpet today and I think it worked out well. It was just a beige coloured carpet. Alrighty, so now we are on to the landscaping. The landscaping of this house was very simple, very basic. I thought, young couple, maybe they didn't have much of a garden. Most of this side is actually paved, and I ended up being able to squeeze in a tiny little entertainment area with a barbecue and what have you. And it, because notoriously, like this long lot, it really doesn't really suit this style of build. And I think that's why the EA build that was originally here in the same type of style potentially did not go as well as also because it's just there's not really much yard. There's not really that much of an opportunity just because of the shape. So it's a nice long lot, but it's not wide. So it's hard to really build a a vertically positioned build. Alrighty, just going in with some lay-lowing flowers. As I said, landscaping is very simple. I wanted it to be minimal just to, I don't know, just a very simplistic house today. Nothing crazy. Alright, so I do end up just putting some daisies out the front. So I'm just doing this here. I did chop and change with the colours. I think in the end I do end up just going with white. I believe. Am I deleting it? Just simply moving it around. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I've just removed the coloured ones and gone in with the white daisies. I do move the coloured ones over by the other side of the fence. I just thought it was a little bit cute just to tie it in. I do like to do symmetrical builds and aspects into my build, so I thought it was quite cute. Just putting a tree. I believe I put one in each corner. Yes, I do. Very standard of me. Some rocks in the landscaping always makes it look a little bit more realistic, if you ask me. So there's a tip for your landscaping. Use rocks and as I'm just about to get into, terrain paint under all your plants. That'll help add a sense of realism to your builds as well. Alrighty, so I believe we are moving on to that entertainment space. So I do just manage to put a standard table and chairs. I think I only put 2 chairs in the end, just because it is a little bit of a tight space, but it's a small home. It technically is a 1x1, so you can get by with just the 2 chairs. I thought that was a cute little place for the rubbish bins and what have you, and just going around with planter boxes. As you can see, I put an easel because I like to incorporate quite a lot of skill building, so we have an easel at the back, a chess table at the front. Again, I'm just really following the wood tones with this build, so a lot of wood tones are used, and I really liked this Blooming Rooms kit wall plant. I thought that just added to it was a simple bit of a decoration, but it allowed us to put a plant in the front, so that was great. Alrighty, so here I am with that orange, and as you can see, the second you put it down, it just automatically just lifts that build, and I think it was definitely the right decision looking back on it. So yeah, so we are finishing up the landscaping here, and then I believe we move inside and we start decorating. We do start with the kitchen. I'm just adjusting some things. Yep. Alrighty, so into the kitchen we go. I used the Country kitchen kit, and that was mainly because the counter's a bit worn, they're a bit aged looking. I did go with a nice blue because it's a neutral blue, and it goes well with most colour schemes, because as you can see, the wallpaper is very kind of dull for the main portion of the house. So I thought that this kitchen set was quite appropriate Just doing some alt placing of the counters and what have you, just so that everything is as close together as we can, so we can fit as much in this tiny space as possible. Okay, so that's basically your kitchen. We do clutter it up later. I do jump around a bit in this build. So we are now working on the living room portion of the open area. And again, that coffee, TV stand, coffee table, it's very old and worn. It's actually a little bit more Victorian, I would say, but again, I felt that potentially it was handed down. You know, things like larger furniture items are definitely things that are very commonly passed down to, couples when they move into their first home. I went with these high school year dining chairs because I thought that they added a little bit of femininity into the build, and I thought potentially maybe that the female sim of the couple was maybe a little bit more style forward, and she had a lot of influence into kind of like the style interior design that the house went with. So that's kind of why it's kind of got this kind of glamorous boho kind of vintage look about it, and I think it turned out really well. Uh, so I'm just cluttering up the space. So this casserole dish on top of the books with the boxes, I thought was a really cool little piece because to me that kind of implied, okay, they've just newly moved in and they're still sorting things. They're still sorting things of like, where is this going to go? What's the home for this? So that's the reason I put the casserole dish on top of some books, just to kind of convey that message of potentially this couple had just moved in and they're still trying to find homes for their items. So, yeah, I thought that was a nice little touch as well. Also, it adds to that more cottage vibe, which then ties in with the kitchen set that we've used. So that's obviously a tip that I like to recommend to people, is really consider the style that you're using in terms of design. So if you're using cottage core type pieces, you want to like marry that with other pieces of that style as well. So that way it looks cohesive, because if it's all just like random mumbo jumbo, it's not going to, the design isn't going to have a clear, like people aren't going to be able to clearly identify where your design was heading. All right, so we are into the one bedroom that we do have in this house. And again, it's very boho theme. It's very feminine. It's very pastel in color. I went with the blue wallpaper because it was just a neutral color. And when in doubt, you just go neutral. It helps with, as I said, having things match and look like it goes together kind of thing. I did struggle with, I didn't want to use a mint or a pink because it was a couple's room. You wanted to feel like that potentially the male sim had some kind of influence in the house. So I didn't really want to make it overly girly, but I wanted to kind of, again, put forward that the female sim did have a lot more influence in this style. Alrighty, so we're just putting some posters, just cluttering up the space. I did kind of get the vibe that potentially this sim was into wellness, into nature. So there's a lot of plants. There's a lot of, there's the meditation cushion. It kind of gives me, and the boho vibe does kind of lean that way as well, with kind of one with nature, a lot of raw materials. So you're using a lot of wicker and with straw and stuff. So it's a lot of man-made objects, kind of eco-friendly a little bit. So yeah, that's kind of why there's a lot of those objects in the game. A lot of straw and those textures you'll see continuously. The bathroom is a very standard bathroom, as you know I do. I used a lot of colours that were a bit like, I don't know, you'd see in like the 70s. So like that dated green and that lemon yellow. It looks very old in there, but maybe potentially, I don't know, maybe that was the furniture that came with the house. Like I know that like, yeah, maybe that was the furniture. Alrighty, so we're just adding the final tidbits, and now we're on to the tour of the house. So as you can see, this is our little living area, dining area, bedroom, and the bathroom. So that's the build for today. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.